What is up, everybody? Oleg here. Today we are going to analyze Ukraine's Euro 2024 as Ukraine is officially eliminated from the tournament after getting last place in Group E, but with 4 points. First team in history since they changed the Euro format in 2016 to be eliminated on 4 points, as every team in the group got 4 points. So goal differential ended up being the difference. So that first game against Romania really cost us. Here is the group table. So Romania first, Belgium second, Slovakia third, Ukraine fourth, all on 4 points, which has never happened before in history. Absolutely wild, but overall underwhelming based off our expectations. So I'm gonna analyze our Euro 2024 campaign. I got the classic 2012 kit on when we hosted the Euros. And Sheva scored those 2 goals. Absolutely lit. But yeah, let's get to it. Despite Ukraine playing a lot better in the last 2 games, winning in Slovakia 2-1, Belgium 0-0, but that was Ukraine's best game out of all 3. That Ukraine played their best football in that game, created many chances, even dominated Belgium at times. Belgium last 15 minutes were wasting time like Ukraine was prime Brazil or something. Kevin De Bruyne taking it to the corner flag. Belgium had a corner which they gave it all the way back to their keeper to waste more time. Like that was like po-ukrainsky приємно. Like it was like kind of like nice to see like a big team being scared of us, you know. But it was, in the end, it wasn't enough because we couldn't score the goal. But footballing wise, that was Ukraine's best game. Even though they didn't get the final result that they needed. But the first game was the absolute biggest disaster probably in Ukrainian football history, to be honest. If that was like a France or a Spain or something, that'd be understandable. But Romania losing 3-0, like maybe 1-0, you know, or a draw, but 3-0, Ukraine just completely underestimated their opponents, I think, end of the day. So overall, if I had to just sum it up overall, I'd say that this campaign for Ukraine was a failure, which is kind of ironic because in all 4 Euro appearances that Ukraine has, this is actually the highest point total in the groups that Ukraine has ever gotten. 2012, Ukraine got 3 points. 2016, absolutely disastrous, 0 points and 0 goals. 2020-21, 3 points in the group stage, which was enough for us to go through that year, 3rd place. 2024, 4 points. This is our highest point tally in history in the Euros. But ironically, we got last place with our highest point total because of the circumstances of the group, which we also got unlucky just based off the other games. Like if Slovakia or Romania won in their games, if one of these teams won, then Ukraine would have went through as a 3rd place team. And we would have been playing, who I believe England, because that's what Slovakia is playing. But you can't rely on the other games, so Ukraine needed the result either way against Belgium. So you can't rely on other games, you know. Overall, it was a failure and it was underwhelming because of the expectations and because we got a very favorable group. Out of all teams and groups, no disrespect to these teams, Romania topped their group, Belgium's very strong, and Slovakia has very good players too. But based off all the teams in the Euros, we got probably the most favorable group for us to make it to the knockout stages. And with the expectations of Ukraine's current team, we got players, like if you just say this, without mentioning Ukraine, that there's a team that has players from Chelsea, Arsenal, Real Madrid, players playing La Liga, in Premier League, 5 players playing in Premier League, 3 in La Liga, you would be like, wow, this is a great national team. You know, so on paper, Ukraine should have made it out of this group, 100%. We didn't have an England, we didn't have a France. Like my overall rating for Ukraine, I'd say is 5 out of 10 because nobody overperformed. I think maybe Trubin. Trubin is the only maybe player that he was the best player of this tournament for me, for Ukraine. And injuries didn't help either with Sehankov out, Mudryk out in the last game, Mykolenko. Such a huge miss, man, the first 2 games. Mykolenko, such a baller. But overall, yeah, this was disappointing. This was a failure for Ukraine. I'd say 5 out of 10. Based off expectations, based off everyone saying this is the best Ukrainian national team in history because of all the players playing abroad and in strong teams. Despite the positives in the last 2 games, the negatives from the first game against Romania, losing 3-0, outweighed that, I think, overall. Like, you can't... It's a quick tournament. Like, you have to play from the first minute. They didn't wake up. They only woke up for the last 2 games, and overall that cost us. That cost us with the goal differential. So Ukraine had a very bad start against Romania, right? Just they controlled the game with possession and everything, but they created very minimal chances. They didn't even have a shot on target until like the 76th minute. Very underwhelming, even though they had a million passes. Romania ran their asses off, and they put in the kilometers, they put in the miles. Ukraine did. Ukraine wanted to just pass it around. They thought they were playing like Moldova in the friendlies, which they won like 4-5-0. They seriously underestimated Romania. Yes, Romania doesn't have those players in Chelsea's and Arsenal's Real Madrid, but as a unit, as a team, they play very well. And their defense is very well too, very organized. And they got first in their qualifiers. Like, yes, they didn't have the big teams in their qualifiers like in England or Spain or Germany, but they still got first. That's still, you can't disrespect them, you know. And two Slavic nations too, like it's going to be like a war, you know, like they're going to hate each other. I think Ukraine had too many friendlies in their preparation for the Euros. If you look at all the other national teams' preparation for the Euros, they all played 2 friendlies each. And then while they were all resting and preparing for their first games, Ukraine goes on to play Moldova with basically all their starters. A game which they won 4-5-0, and they had some really good combos, good plays, but it was only a few days out before their first game. Like, it was a little odd. And everyone got all hyped because we played very well, but it was a little bit odd. So I think there were some mistakes in preparation by Rebrov and his staff, maybe too much playing before. And Ukraine looked very tired in that game against Romania. Like, something with the preparation was off, even though there's so many professionals that go into the preparation of these teams. You know, something was off. Like, the guys seemed tired. They weren't at 100%. You have to know how to prepare these guys, like how to prepare them physically, and then how to give them maximum rest for them to be at 100% for the games. And I don't think they were versus Romania. They did not look good. Guys like Konoplia, he was very bad. Guys like Tsehanko, who's usually really good. Mudryk was the only one that was decent and doing something creativity, putting in crosses and shots and things like that. And maybe Rebrov was running them too much. Maybe physically they were doing too much because of, look at all the injuries. Why do we get so many injuries? Tsehanko, arguably our best player. He's the one that like puts a lot of pressure on himself. He was out for the, nobody knows exactly what the injury was, but he was out for the last 2 games. And Mudryk out for the last game. Mikolenko, if we didn't have that last game against Moldova, Mikolenko would have never gotten that second injury, and we would have had our player Mikolenko. So many like injuries, and then because Mikolenko was out, Zinchenko had to draw back to left back in a position where he's not as good defend. Even though he used to play left back a lot, he's not as good defending as he is in midfield. That made us play someone else in midfield because Zinchenko is really good in midfield, and so we had to change our structure in midfield to a different structure. Sudako, Shaparenko, and then first game Stepanenko, and then the other games we were putting Brashko. Also, psychological preparation was off too. This is on the training staff. It's not just the players, the training staff, because the preparation was not there. Ukraine didn't come out with respect to play from the first minute against Romania. They came out like they already won. They're like, oh, Romania is like another Moldova. It's going to be easy, 4-5-0 win. We barely have to try. You cannot do that at the Euros. So this will hopefully be a good lesson to the players. But what sucks is for the older guys like Malinovsky, Yarmolenko, Stepanenko. They're probably not going to get another Euro. They're in their 30s, they're older. So it sucks for them because this was their last chance. Next game against Slovakia, good response by Ukraine. They had respect for Slovakia. And Slovakia is a great team, got great players. Slovakia was more on the front foot. But Ukraine still, first half was very bad, not going to lie. Rebrov made some major changes. He put Trubin instead of Lunin, who made very big mistakes against Romania. I don't know, Lunin, what was going on, bro? Like, he can handle so much pressure in those games with Real Madrid, but comes first game for Ukraine, I guess the pressure for your national team is just next level because he couldn't handle it with those mistakes. But maybe controversial, maybe not, but Rebrov made a statement with starting Trubin instead, who played absolutely phenomenal. So many brilliant saves versus Slovakia and Belgium. He was Ukraine's best player in these Euros. So first half against Slovakia, Ukraine still conceded a lot. They were still not doing the best, but Slovakia scored that first goal. Zinchenko didn't defend the best, but then they woke up. Second half, Zini played brilliantly, Trubin brilliantly, Shaparenko brilliantly, goal plus assist. Yaremchuk came on, scored that amazing goal. Yo, that like crazy touch, crazy finish. Shaparenko's goal was nice. Zinchenko, nice combo. Zinchenko cross, Shaparenko finish. Comeback, and that was Ukraine's one win against Slovakia. It was a great team, great win. Ukraine get the 3 points. At halftime, they were going out and they of the Euros, and then they did it. They made the comeback. They still have a chance, so that was good. That was a good performance. Not like crazy good, but they showed character. It wasn't a dominant performance, but they showed character to get the win, which was very important. And based off how things went, all teams had 3 points in their groups at that time. So Romania and Slovakia could both go through in their game off a draw. So they didn't even have to really try. And that game was a little bit sketchy, a little bit sus. Two Slavic nations, they needed a draw. And that's exactly what happened. Very sketchy penalty, too, that Romania got. Bro dove. I can't believe it went to VAR and they gave that penalty. But either way, you cannot rely on other games. So Ukraine had to win. Third game. Starting lineup comes out. Ukraine's with a 5-3-2. I'm like, bro, we're parking the bus. Why are we parking the bus in a game we need to win? But I was surprised. And in the starting lineup, no Mudryk, no Tsehankov. They got injuries out of nowhere. Mikulenko's back, which is a big boost. Massive boost. I was pleasantly surprised that even though we played a 5-3-2, we created many chances. We shut down Belgium. This was our best game. And somehow, so many chances. But Dovbyk, underwhelming. Yaremchuk was trying, but Sudakov with shots, bro. Our finishing was just not there. The final third wasn't there. Dovbyk was just slow. We were passing when we should have been shooting. We were shooting when we should have been passing. You know what I mean? I don't know what was going on, but the combo plays were very good. Ukraine, this game was amazing. But the final third just wasn't there. We had Belgium on the back foot. Overall, we did. We just can't rely. It's a goal differential. Cost us in the end. Yo, Malinovsky. I don't know why. I don't know what the beef is, what it is, but I don't know why Malinovsky doesn't play. He's got so much experience, and he's not scared. He's not scared. He can whip in crosses. He can shoot. He's got a hammer. He's got the best shot on our team, on our national team. I don't know why he didn't come out sooner, or why he doesn't start. Sometimes he plays very aggressively, but he's guaranteed to get a yellow card, but he's guaranteed to play very well. He almost scored straight from the corner. This man, the balls on this man to shoot straight from the corner. They had to go to goal line technology. He was right on the line. And he had so many good passes, so many good... Dovbyk laid it off to him at one point. He hammered that shit so hard that the Belgian defender knocked his air out or something. He was on the ground. But Malinovsky, bro, I wish he played more. I love Malinovsky, man. He was such a good player. Towards the end, Sudakov, such a good chance. He took the game on himself. He was very underwhelming this whole tournament, but he took the initiative. Malinovsky passed it to him. 91st minute, he dribbled past a guy or two or three, but the shot wasn't there. Straight at the keeper. Man, if he scored that would just have been incredible. But in this 5-3-2, Ukraine somehow was very good. So final thoughts on this tournament. Best player, this is a tough choice, but best player I think is definitely Trubin. And then besides that, I gotta say, even though Mikulenko only played one half or 50 minutes against Belgium, I think he's got to be there. He was phenomenal. And then some shouts are Timchik. He locked up Doku. He played very well his 2 games, replacing Konoplia, who was very underwhelming against Romania. And Konoplia is usually the starter at right back. Timchik was very good. Shaparenko, Yaremchuk are shouts. Nothing crazy phenomenal. Worst players, Lunin. Out of the UEFA rankings, the worst players in the group stage, Lunin had a 3-7. Lunin's a great player, but he did not do well that game. 2 goals were on him. He passed it straight to the Romania player, who passed it to the other guy who scored. And then the second goal, the Romania goal, he should have saved it. Yeah, yes, it was a good shot, but if you watch the replays, he was there, he had it, and it went under here. Konoplia was very disappointing. In qualifiers, he was so good, but against Romania, not too good. Surprisingly, Tsehankov was very bad against Romania too. Dovbyk was very disappointing. I'd say the most disappointing was Dovbyk being top scorer. Pichichi, Spain, 24 goals. and not to have a single shot on target and not to score any goals too at these Euros was quite disappointing. Sudakov, for his hype, for the player that he's supposed to be, he's supposed to go to like a Liverpool, Arsenal big team. Shakhtar's trying to sell him. Very disappointing, especially first 2 games. Nowhere to be found. He's known for his creativity. Nowhere to be seen first 2 games. Against Belgium, he was a bit better, but still, I expected more. Tsig was disappointing against Romania. Tsehankov, Lunin, a lot of guys, yeah. Like, Mudryk was okay, but I think he was decent though. Mudryk was he had some moments that weren't good, but he created a lot of chances. I'd say. So what's next for Zbirna Ukraina, for Ukrainian national team? We are out of the Euros, so what's next is Nations League games. In our Nations League group, you got Albania, Czechia, and Georgia. They have played their hearts out. Ukraine should learn from them how to play from the first minute to the last to represent your country. Georgia, hats off. And World Cup qualification for 2026 in America, United States, Canada, Mexico, which I'm very excited about because I'll be able to go to some games. But that format's expanded to 48 teams, so Ukraine has a great chance of making it through. They haven't made the World Cup since 2006, 20 years since 2026, so hopefully Ukraine makes that. There's no groups yet, so we don't know our teams, our groups, but we are hoping that we got a decent group. We don't know which pot we're in also. We were hoping that we'd have a good Euros performance to be in pot 1, so we don't get one of the big boys, but we might now be in pot 2. So we will probably get one of the bigger nations. We have a young team. I think Ukraine still has great potential to make World Cup 2026 and learn from their mistakes from these Euros to have a great World Cup campaign. We're a young, talented team. We thought it was a golden generation. It might still be the golden generation, but the first chance of this golden generation of Ukraine has been wasted at this Euros, has been underwhelming, has been disappointing. So hopefully they learn, and the Rebrov learns, and in this part of this cycle in the World Cup 2026, they perform to their standards, and we get some ballin' Ukrainian games to cheer for. So, that's my analysis on Ukraine's Euro 2024 campaign. Hope you enjoyed. Slava Ukraini. Hopefully, World Cup 2026 is next, and it'll be interesting to watch the rest of the Euros. Comment below your opinions on Ukraine's Euro 2024 campaign, where it went wrong, where it went right, why we didn't perform to our standards if you agree with my comments, and what's next for Ukraine. Will they make World Cup 2026? And in the meantime, check out these videos if you are interested. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. And let's go. Let's have more victories. Slava Ukraini. I will see you guys next time.